I see a little silhouette of a man.
So what is the song Bohemian Rhapsody all about? That is the question. Genius.com has the following statement. The most sensible literal reading of the song is that the narrator confesses to a murder, is put on trial, and either escapes or gets executed. Figurative readings, like interpretations that it is an allegory for Freddie's struggles with his sexuality, are also possible, but harder to support. Yes, indeed, but whatever else Bohemian Rhapsody is about, the key event that appears to drive the narrative of the song is this: Mama just killed a man.
Put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead.
If one is going to say that the song is not about a murder, trial, and let me say sentence, either execution or incarceration, then what does this murder otherwise mean? We need to then complete the thought. When the protagonist apparently kills a man, it does not mean that he actually killed a man. Rather, it means that... insert your answer here. And suddenly we are in the realm of speculation, or at least if there is to be a sustainable alternative interpretation, it must arise from the lyrics of the song in some way. It has been argued that Bohemian Rhapsody is Freddie Mercury's coming out song. In terms of giving a figurative explanation for the killing of a man, this is quite an appealing idea. One way of viewing this interpretation is founded on the notion that a gay man who conceals his true identity and pretends to be straight has a dual persona: the straight image that is presented to the world and his concealed gay identity. When in Bohemian Rhapsody the protagonist kills a man, he is killing the persona that is misrepresenting his true self to the world. This leads to his judgment and condemnation. This judgment and condemnation is the substance of the opera section of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bismillah, no, we will not let you go. Let him go!
In fact, the opera section contains a lot of religious language and may come across as a lot of moralistic claptrap rather than legal debate. This gives some credence to the coming out interpretation. In any event, from here it is not difficult to unpack the remainder of the song. It is especially important to note that this interpretation is not incorrect. It is just harder to see. This is simply because the literal reading, that there was a real murder, is the self-evident interpretation, while the metaphorical or figurative understanding, that Mercury is talking about coming to terms with his sexual identity, requires some direct lyrical evidence from the song itself. The idea that there is a crime, a trial, and a sentence that is carried out in Bohemian Rhapsody could be sneakily alluded to in We Are the Champions.
I've done my sentence, but committed no crime.
While there is no obvious evidence to support a connection between Bohemian Rhapsody and We Are the Champions, this line fits the narrative, since if Mercury is being self-referential in Bohemian Rhapsody, he has been judged, at least in the media, but committed no crime. The idea of multiple interpretations of Bohemian Rhapsody was suggested by Freddie Mercury himself in a quote that appears on Wikipedia. It's one of those songs which has such a fantasy feel about it. I think people should just listen to it, think about it, and then make up their own minds as to what it says to them. Bohemian Rhapsody didn't just come out of thin air. I did a bit of research, although it was tongue-in-cheek and mock opera. Mercury advocates for a very specific mode of interpretation known as reader response. He suggests that people should just listen to it, think about it, and then make up their own minds as to what it says to them. This is all very well, and of course people will do this regardless. But this sort of flagrant relativism, where an interpretation is valid simply because I thought of it, is not very satisfying. The end product is that the song could be deemed to mean virtually anything, or possibly even nothing.
Hi.
Oh, yes, I got it.
What?
Well, it doesn't really mean anything, does it?
And yet Mercury continues to say, Bohemian Rhapsody did not just come out of thin air. I did a bit of research. This implies that Bohemian Rhapsody was guided by specific thoughts that were carefully constructed in Mercury's mind before they were formed into the lyrics that we now have. So what are we to do? Must we search for the meaning that was in Mercury's mind, or should each person determine their own personal understanding? There is quite an elegant solution to these questions. This is because there are actually three perspectives to the task of interpretation, what could be called worlds of the text, or in the case of Bohemian Rhapsody, worlds of the lyrics. These are 1. The world behind the lyrics, 2. The world of the lyrics, and 3. The world in front of the lyrics. This is not complicated. The world behind the text refers to the context and time of the author. This is Freddie's world. It is the world that he inhabited that caused him to write the song. This is the world that I examined in my first video on Bohemian Rhapsody, the video that I called Setting the Scene. The second world or perspective is the world of the lyrics. The context is that of the lyrics themselves. In Bohemian Rhapsody, it is the world of the poor boy who needs no sympathy. Here we are restricted to the lyrics alone, and it is here where the meaning of the song is found. This could be called interpretation proper. It is with an eye on this world that my second video on Bohemian Rhapsody was produced. This video I called Descent into Hell. The world in front of the lyrics is the world of the listener, you and me. How do we interpret the song from our perspectives? This is what Freddie was referring to in the quote I shared. Remember what he said, I think people should just listen to it, think about it, and then make up their own minds as to what it says to them. This is a meaning derived from a place in front of the text, what I previously called reader response. And so we have three worlds that are ever present when lyrics are heard in a song or read on the page or computer screen. All three of these are always influencing our interpretations to a greater or lesser degree. Hopefully, an awareness of this will help me to notice unwanted influences so that my interpretation can do justice to the song itself. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe. Peace and stay well.